Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is WanQ, and today I am very excited to talk about this topic because I personally think it's one of the most important things that international students have to deal with. And of course, like everyone have to deal with, and we don't talk about it enough. So today we're going to talk about mental health issues. For international students coming to a new country from a very different background, and then you have to face a whole new culture, it's already difficult enough. And that of course going to have a huge impact on our mental health. Today I summarized two main big things that we have to deal with as international students, and then I'm going to give you some tips and advice on how to deal with it. I'm not a mental health specialist or any type of doctor or a psychiatrist or a therapist. I am not. This is based on some of my experience because I had to deal with some of these issues and what worked for me. So hope that could help you guys too. So without further ado, let's dive into it. First and foremost, we have to deal with loneliness and solitude. So coming here, most likely you came to the United States without your family members. So that is something that a lot of us have to deal with for the first time. And it's not like we can go back anytime. Going back means, long distance traveling means, and especially under the COVID situation, it's extremely difficult for us to go back to our home countries. So loneliness and solitude is one of the biggest issues for international students. For me, personally, I miss my family so much back in Beijing, China. So especially when you're experiencing physical health issues, you don't have a family member that you can trust to take care of you, bring you water, bring you medication. That is when I really experience loneliness and solitude. So second big issue that I had to deal with, and I'm sure a lot of people have to deal with, is anxiety and stress. So anxiety and stress can come from many different aspects. So study and coursework, that is a huge part. Obviously, as students, we can get really stressed out, especially if we're dealing with like English or a language barrier. We don't understand what the professor is talking about. We're lacking behind specific courses. We don't understand. We don't know how to ask for help, stuff like that. So that could come from study and research. Of course, there are, I think, mental health issue among PhD is a huge problem that the society is talking about and dealing with right now. And then second, job search can be a very big source of anxiety and stress because we require sponsorship to stay in the United States to get a job. I don't know the statistics, but it is much more difficult and challenging for us to get a job. So that could mess up with our heads because sometimes we feel that we're not good enough, we don't belong here. The scarcity of opportunity can really make us feel that we're not good enough to meet a requirement or a job description, but really that was just because they legally can't sponsor us. But anyway, that could result in some type of anxiety and stress. Third is relationship, because we're away from our family and friends, we are away from everything that we're familiar with. So building new relationship could be really difficult. We don't know who to trust in the new environment, in the new culture. So relationship can also result in stress and anxiety. And of course, there are other issues that can come from dealing with anxiety and stress, including insomnia, even depression. So these can all have a very substantial impact on our daily life. For how to deal with mental health issues among international students, I think the first and foremost, we have to be aware. In some of our cultures and countries, we don't emphasize mental health that much. So going to a therapist or going to a psychiatrist could be discriminated, or it was just not something that we do for like normal people. That's not the case in the United States, and that's definitely shouldn't be a reason that you don't seek help. So first, become aware if you're dealing with these issues that I talked about, admit it, and making sure that you understand that this is something that you're really struggling with. And with that, I'm sure like you can find all kinds of techniques that can help you deal with it, and being aware is the first step. There are a few advice that I can give, a few things that I think helped me over the time. So first one, stay in touch with your families and friends back in your home country. So I'm sure a lot of you are doing that already, but it's never enough. So FaceTiming your parents, FaceTiming your friends, if there's like something small happening going on. I know a lot of us are experiencing time differences between our home country, family, and us. So maybe sending a text, sending some pictures, that could help you a lot. And then with your family's encouragement, with you talking to them on a regular basis, that could help a lot with your loneliness and solitude. And of course, anxiety and stress, you can also talk to them and maybe they can help you in whatever way they can. Second, I have to mention this: seek professional help if you realize that it's becoming something serious. And even if it's not like, you don't think it's a big deal, I would still recommend talking to like either a counselor in a university or a therapist in your community. That could help a lot. Maybe something that you think it's not a big deal, it has many direct and indirect impact on your life. So you want to be happier in general. So something that helped me with professional help, I went to the counseling center from the university. It's completely free for students, and there are many different services in counseling centers in your university. For mine, I used the one-on-one counseling. So I talked to it like I think social worker. She's a kind of like a counselor in the counseling center. I talked to her about dealing with a lot of stress at school on a one-on-one. Private conversation is all confidential. And then there are group therapy. I haven't used that one, but I heard that they put you in a group of people who are probably struggling with the same issue as you, and then you talk to each other about it. I think it might help people because like you realize that you're not alone in the situation. And then third, it's workshops. So universities, I think in the United States, a lot of universities really value and prioritize mental health for students. They would create different workshops for students to go. I personally went to a 3-session perfectionist workshop, and it really helped me a lot. I'm sure like for a lot of international students and professionals, we are hard workers, we strive for the best. Sometimes I think a lot of us are type A people, even perfectionists. Knowing that you are a perfectionist, being aware and going to those workshops and really dealing with, okay, it's okay to fail from time to time. It's okay to get a B. Like that can make a huge impact on your happiness and your mental health state. And then I know that there are other therapy resources in the community, and a lot of the student health insurance actually cover those. So make sure to talk to your university healthcare provider and stuff like that, and see if there are any like options for you outside of the university. Other mental health resource centers on campus includes Women's Health Resources Center, and even International Students and Scholar Services could potentially be a resource as well, because I'm sure they received a lot of like problems and issues that international students and scholars brought up to the university, and maybe they have a solution for it, or the right resources, or the right people to talk to. And Women's Resource Center, going back to that one, I use that as well. There are like different like gender discrimination and gender bias issues are, unfortunately, they're universal. So if you ever encounter any type of weird situation or harassment or abuse in any type of situation, please use the Women's Resources Center if you have one in the university and bring it up, because that helped me a lot, and then helped me realize what it means as a feminist and all of that. So that really helped me. Going to my third point, what really helped me over the years to deal with anxiety and stress is that meditation. So a lot of my friends know that I'm a big meditator. So I practice meditation on a daily basis, and there is actually an organization that I really want you guys to know. It's called Art of Living. And if you are a university or college student in the United States, you can check out Sky Campus Happiness. So Sky Campus Happiness is an organization that helps college and university students to deal with mental health issues, teach us meditation and yoga, and to really help us go through the stressful college life. So I will link their resources down below. If you guys are interested, I can potentially invite speakers or guests on my video to talk about how that different breathing techniques and meditation techniques specifically help us. It's all of their techniques are evidence-based. They are all ancient techniques that has been practiced over thousands of years. And for me, my experience with them was just unbelievably life-changing. So I have been struggling with anxiety and probably depression. I wasn't diagnosed because I never went to a hospital and see a doctor and got diagnosed. But I think anxiety and depression is something that I for sure dealt with in the past. So I tried different techniques and I came across Sky Campus Happiness, and then I went to one of their happiness retreat, and the techniques that I learned in that retreat became life-changing. I became so much calmer. I became less stressful. My insomnia gone away after that. And then after right now, I've been practicing their techniques for over a year, and it also helped me through COVID times. And number 4 I want to talk about is get involved in a new community, and building new relationships is very, very critical for your well-being in the United States. I know that leaving your home country resulted in you having to be in a long distance relationship, or you can't really see your friends that often anymore, and you can't see them in person anymore, then try to build new relationships. You can find, for example, organizations or clubs that includes your same passion. If you have a specific passion, if you're interested in music, or you are a hiking person, whatever, join a music club or join a hiking club. I don't know. You will discover new friendship, and you will have somebody who you can talk to, in person and even on a daily basis and things like that, so you can vent some of that stuff out. So that is very important. Last but not least, I do have to mention this, is doing service. This is kind of it's also about getting involved in a community, but with some type of volunteer work or service that really help with your mental health. First of all, doing service can give you a much bigger perspective of life and of this world. You can gain perspective on what other people are struggling with. Maybe they're struggling with very different things of you as you, and then you can help them in those ways, or they're struggling with the same thing as you, and then you feel less lonely because you get the feeling of, oh, you're in this together, you want to help each other out, and it's just it gives you a much more powerful view of life. And second, engaging in service really it takes your attention off of yourself. So my famous guru said, like, if you want to become depressed, you just think about yourself for 10 minutes, like nonstop. Just think about your own problems, your own issues, how imperfect you are, blah, 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 all of that. And then you will become depressed. But if you take your attention off of your own problems and your own self, and then you focus on, okay, how can I make this life? How can I make this world? How can I make, someone else or my own community, my own group live a better life? Like, what can I give to the society instead of what I can gain or what I'm missing from this society? I think that really takes the negativity off of your brain and mind, and really engage in the love, engage in spreading the love, spreading belongingness. All of those can really, really help with your mental health issues. I'll give you an example. So I'm involved in many different organizations, and one of the organizations that is near and dear to my heart is Graduate Society of Women Engineers, or just Society of Women Engineers. So I've been on that in that organization or community for over 2 years. Why I joined that community is that, first of all, I found other people who are like me, like women in STEM or women engineer. So as a minority in STEM, which, like usually sometimes we experience some type of loneliness because we can be the only woman in the room, we can be the only woman in a class, or one of the very few women in a class, and that can result in many different imposter syndrome in our brain and stuff like that. And being in a community with women in engineer, that really gave me the power to stick to my choice as an engineer and find that, okay, there are other people who are like me, who are devoting ourselves into STEM majors, and we really belong in STEM fields. So that gave me that strength. And also, like, serving on the community and trying to empower other women, that made me realize that I want to become something bigger. For example, we have different outreach programs and stuff like that. We want to involve in the community, and we also organize conferences that brings all the women in STEM field from all over the country together and talk about the future of women in STEM. And that, like, these programs and these events are just so much more powerful than who I am. And in that committee, I focus on what I can give. How do I make sure more people know about us? I just stop thinking about myself anymore, and then focus on how to help more people. And helping other people can make you really, really happy. This is just like, it's just so simple. I don't have to explain too much more. It's just like helping people can make you happy. End of story, period. So that's all I have for now. I'm sure there are so many more things that you can do, self-care days, you can work out and exercise that can help a lot of people. But bottom line is that you don't want to use unhealthy cope mechanism to help with your mental health issues, for example, like drugs or alcohol. But you want to focus on building new relationships, developing your hobbies, helping other people, and really focus on seeking professional help and healthy ways to deal with these problems. So let me know if you have any more questions. Feel free to comment down below. And if there are any other topics that you want me to cover, feel free to comment. And make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.